currently at a storage facility somewhere in St. Matthews.
What is the story though? You shift. Talk about the timeline of you moved and then Coach called.
The Friday of the Final Four, the night before we here played UK, I was actually in U of L's team hotel, which I don't remember whatever it was in New Orleans, where the team hotel was. Pat Kelsey, who had been an assistant at Xavier, who I had a really strong relationship with and who I admire as much as anyone, called me, and that was the first time it had kind of come out that he was going to get the Winthrop job, and I had spoken to him towards the end of the basketball season, knowing that my time at Xavier was up. I'm in the midst of completing my master's in sports administration. I'm done with all the work. I'll have it here in a couple weeks. He called me and basically said, hey, I'm getting the job. And it kind of started to come out. At the Final Four, you always hear from a lot of people, a lot of rumors are going around. And it was apparently a done deal. And that was the first time he called me and said, I'd really like to have you along. There's other things that have to be done first. And within a few days of that was Friday, and I think by the following Tuesday, so the day after the national championship, he had called me and officially asked me if I wanted to come, and obviously I said yes. So the next week I actually drove down to Rock Hill, or Charlotte. We were living in Charlotte, the university in Rock Hill. I had moved down on Thursday after the Final Four, had an apartment, signed a lease Friday, and Monday morning in the middle, we had an official visit with a kid on campus who was a really high priority for us, and everything's scrambling around. My dad had contacted me and said, do you have any interest in UL's film job? And I said, well, yeah, absolutely. I'm not one to refuse. I don't like to have a shortage of positive options. And right then, as soon as that was at 10:30 a.m., he texted me right back and said, here, coach's number. You need to call him at 11:30 sharp. So I literally, and this is not an exaggeration, I finished up, I got Coach Kelsey's car ready to get the kid in the car and drive him to the airport at 11:26. I sprinted through Winthrop Coliseum. Literally, I was on the front side. I ran through the middle of the court, got in my car, I drove to a parking lot, turned the air conditioner on in my car, and I called Coach Pitino at 11:29. It happened really fast. So that happened that quickly, and then I stayed around. I helped them organize some things for a few days before I came back. But it literally happened within an hour from the time I initially heard about it to the time it was done. And then I had to call Coach Kelsey and inform him that after 5 days of loyal service, I was going to move on.
For a former ball boy, you've been around this program so much now, you got a bunch of new gear, you got an office in here. It's got to be pretty good.
It's unbelievable. It's obviously not really set in yet with Coach, just getting back in town and seeing him. This is the first day it's really, really hit home. It's an unbelievable opportunity. This is going to come back and haunt me after I say it, but right when it initially happened, I got a little choked up. But it's a really, really neat deal for me. I always laugh, and the one thing and Mr. Klein obviously does a phenomenal job. He neglected to put the fact I think I hold the Freedom Hall record for most games ball boyed. That had to be somewhere in the media guy at Bellarmine, and he really, that guy, he's a slacker.
I think Allen Houston, actually.
No, I think I one-upped him on, they did senior night for me. It was like my 8th grade night, I think. But it's almost unbelievable. I'd never, and I told Coach Pitino when he called me, he's like, are you good with leaving? I know it's a little quick at Winthrop. And I don't think there's anyone anywhere in the world, and I really do mean that, anywhere in the world, better to learn under. You look at him everywhere he's been, he wins. And I think more importantly than that, and I think that my dad always harped on to me about Coach Pitino that makes him so special, he has a unique ability, almost uncanny, to make people do things they don't think they can do. He pushes people to get the most out of them. And my dad told me, actually I went down to Wagner's. I met my dad at lunch last week at Wagner's, and he said, we know the owners. I know the owners very well. And she said, oh, you'll become a regular here. And my dad told her, yeah, it'll all be to go. He's not going to have any time to eat. He'll just have to grab and go. And you know what you're getting when you sign up here. But at the same time, that's also exactly what you want. I think that however long I'm here, and I hope I'm here as long as Coach will have me, I don't think there's anywhere to learn more. And I think that for me, at 24 years old, I couldn't have a better opportunity anywhere in coaching. And I really do believe that. I know it would be better, people might want to get on the road and recruit, get on the floor. But to work under Coach Pitino, I think the experience is invaluable.
What would you tell us about Kareem, having worked with him for a year at Xavier? I'm sure they came to you and asked you what you thought about him. What do you tell them?
I begged, I pleaded, I said go any direction other than that one. To be honest with you, and this is no disrespect to anybody else at Xavier, because I've learned a ton and I admire those guys as much as anyone. I think Kareem is phenomenal. I mean, I learned more in 1 year under Coach Richardson and the things that amazed me about him, and he knows, I love this guy, I look up to him. I hope at his age, which isn't a long time for me, he's not as young as he looks. I hope that I'll be able to be as solid as he is in all facets of coaching. And I think that's an amazing thing. That's more than anything else, that's what I picked up from him as far as what he does on the floor. I think he has an unbelievable rapport with our guys, and our guys at Xavier are going to be, it's going to be tough for them to see him go. You know, he's very well liked. Even to his testament, I don't think he knows this. Everybody who's left at Xavier, we've had a couple departures lately. Everybody that's left has called me today, and the other GA who I lived with is one of my good friends. Ben Box was, to be honest with you, a little upset that Coach Richardson was leaving. I know both of us look up to him as much as anyone. He's phenomenal on the court, scout work, preparing for opponents. And like I said earlier, I think he has a phenomenal rapport with the guys. I think guys really look up to him. He has the perfect balance of getting along with guys. He can tell jokes. He can laugh. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And I think the guys here are going to be really, really fortunate to be able to learn under him. He does a phenomenal job.
And then just, I guess, being able to be close to your father, what is that element like? What's the added bonus there?
He'll probably be down here a lot. No, it's unbelievable. And like I said, I've learned from so many people, Coach Mack, Coach Pitino, indirectly, over the last, I guess, decade. Never actually worked under him, but I've been around a lot. He honestly wore him out in college. Whenever at Bellarmine, as Kent knows, we're really fond of practicing at like 6 a.m. Like my father, really, that's like when he shines. And I would always come down here in the afternoons if we had him off, and I'd probably watched hundreds of practices during college, and I would bring a notebook, and I learned so much under him. And being close to my dad, my dad appreciates how much he's learned here as well. And being close to my dad, and I still learn from my dad, I'll take a notebook and I'll go watch them practice if I have a free afternoon here. Being close to my dad is, there's a lot of, you're always supposed to deny that you do this, and that you don't want to make your parents proud, and that's not why you act, and that's not why you do it. But to be honest with you, if I was very blunt, I did get in. If my father was not a basketball coach, I probably would not be a basketball coach. I grew up around it. I love it. I think my dad's a phenomenal teacher of the game. I've learned so much under him, and he does it all with such a quiet and calm demeanor. Anybody? Nothing? I thought that was funny.
Very quiet.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's awesome just to be close to family and friends. I mean, everybody, when you say family and friends, I mean, that's the whole city of Louisville. From everybody I know here, we don't have a ton of family here, but the friends I have here are like family. And even at U of L, I mean, I've known Mr. Klein forever. Even up in the office, Vinny, Jordan, Stephanie, Matt Dorst was here forever. Fred, Coach Gunong. I've known Coach Gunong's like second father. I spent more time with that guy. But it's so neat to be back here around all these people that I really, truly do love and admire.
And we'll shift all this over